Welcome to Smart Brown Voices, your weekly podcast featuring diverse voices from around the world, giving you insights on how others made it big in their respective fields. Now sit back, grab a notebook, and get ready to be inspired. And don't forget to use hashtag #SmartBrownVoices to share insights, moments of wisdom, and things from the show that inspire you. And now, here's your host, social media nerd and technology activist, Mr. Mike Street.
What's up, everybody? It's me. It's Mr. Mike Street, and this is episode 80. It's either 83 or 84. I forgot because it's been so many crazy episodes that I've been trying to power through so we can get to episode 100. So, welcome to 2017, and today we're going to talk to someone who's I've known him for a while because I've been following his business for the past couple of years. But we actually just started working together, and I thought it would be interesting to have him come on the show and to talk about building his brand and his product in the marketplace, because it's actually a pretty interesting product, and it's all for, I know we have a lot of guy listeners out there, so this is a product that you guys will especially appreciate. So let's welcome Michael James to Smart Brown Voices, and he is the founder of Frederick Benjamin Grooming. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
Good. So are we gonna have to call you James and me Street because we both are Mike?
That works for me.
Cool. So I guess one question for me, and I've been working on your brand for the past couple of weeks, but tell everyone how you came up with the brand and the name of Frederick Benjamin.
Yeah, so I mean, the idea came about as I was working in the cosmetic world for companies such as Revlon and L'Oreal. So, for many years, I had experience developing products and doing strategy work for the brands within those portfolios, but came to realize that there was nothing really out there for men in general, but specifically for multicultural men. So I was found myself creating all this innovation for these brands, but then leaving work and trying to figure out what the best fit for products for me would be, because I'd have to concoct, a little bit of this and a little bit of that to get the right consistency. So it just dawned on me one day. I was like, well, let me. This could be the entrepreneurial idea that I've been searching for, and so it was like, let's do it now. I've got the experience. I've got everything that I need. I just need to take a leap of faith. So finally I did, and Frederick Benjamin was born.
So what's the origin of the name? Is there an actual Frederick Benjamin who's out there, with pompadour hair?
Oh, well, he is. So Frederick Benjamin is actually my grandfather. His name is Frederick Benjamin Schumpert. And, he was an entrepreneur back down in South Carolina. He started a lumber company down in 1939 in Columbia, South Carolina, that and grew it pretty successfully. He was shipping lumber and building supplies throughout the East Coast. And as a black man in the South, that was quite an achievement. I will say he was very fair, so he may have passed at times. But to be honest with you, when I started this line, had a list of names, and I came up with like Groom Supply and all these other just random names. And the guy that I was working with to help me kind of bring it to light visually said, you need a name. Let's put a name on this thing. And so, again, just thinking about grooming, I've got these visuals of my grandfather in his bathroom shaving the old-fashioned way with the bowl and the brush and the straight razor. And I just said, how about Frederick Benjamin? And, it just stuck from there. And so, Frederick Benjamin is real. He's deceased, but he was that guy, that my grandfather, that it was just, he was tight in his look. The guy never walked out of the house without a suit and a fedora on, and that's really also a part of the essence of the brand, like really bringing back that pride in oneself and oneself appearance that's been lost over the generations.
So, we've been seeing a lot of major brands like come into the multicultural space and creating products that are, I guess formulated for a multicultural audience. So we've seen Pantene, come out with the Pantene Gold collection recently, and but some of them have been catching a little bit of flack, for doing this. So why do you think that is? Do we need these products? Because I think we do, because especially, we have a lot of these, white chemists who don't understand, kinky or curly hair. But why do you feel like some of them are kind of catching some heat for putting out products that are made specially for, a multicultural audience?
I think it's just, it's just a sign of the times. I mean, as the marketplace is standing, it's like stay woke. You know what I mean? And it's woke to the fact that gone are the days that we allow general market practitioners to try and dress up a solution for us that they really didn't put the time of day on, or they don't live the daily struggles. And I think we're just as multicultural people, we tend to gravitate to people that understand the pain points, right? Understand the culture, and just understand what the consumers are going through. And then you look at the mistakes that they make when it comes to, marketing. Well, they may say something wrong, or the copy may be somewhat offensive, and I think consumers are just like I said, they're woke. You know what I mean? And in addition to that, gone are the days where they have monopoly on the shelf space. So now you have, these multicultural consumers have a choice with their personal care. So now we have the internet, and we have Amazon, we've got the barbershops, and now there's just access to quality brands made by people of the consumer group that just resonates with us, and it's it's so that's what I see was kind of what's happening. And so the Pantenes and the L'Oreals, when they just take a formula, put it in a package, put a black model on it, we could see through that, and I think the consumers can see through that as well.
Yeah, and I think it has to be authentic for it to work, and I think that's why even looking at the debacle with the Shea Moisture commercials, when I first saw it, I guess, I didn't think anything about it. But then I was like, okay, I could see where, if you're a black woman and you have been rocking with Shea Moisture for, the past 10 years, and then you see these two white chicks just looking all happy, and it's like, what are they trying to go for?
Yeah, that's an interesting story, because that just flips that whole our last conversation on his head, right? Because you had this brand that was extremely authentic, right? It came from a great place. It knew the struggles of women with curly hair, and then all of a sudden, you put this ad out. And when I first saw it, I just paused. I was like, something doesn't feel right here. And I paused before, because I saw it on Facebook, and I didn't go quickly read the comments to see what everybody was doing, but I knew something wasn't right. And then when I started reading the comments, I was like, they've got an issue on their hand. And I understand what they were looking to do and to broaden the market, but to just totally ignore the consumer group that got you to where where you are was a huge mistake. And I think I really think they get it. But I don't know. I mean, it's, growing pains, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but and also now like everyone has a instant focus group in their social media audience. If you put out something, pretty instantly your community is gonna tell you,
You're gonna know.
this is whack, this is wrong, and
That's right.
and in a couple of hours they had to, pull the commercial and issue an apology. But it really goes back into, I think, when we start to look at business now, we do see a lot of more multicultural people, blacks, Latinos coming into the business space now. You know,
Hmm.
you all you need is a good Shopify store, and you can compete with some of these major brands. So tell us a little bit about how like e-commerce has had an effect on your business.
Oh, e-commerce is everything for us. I mean, again, you know, growing up in the Revlon L'Oreal days, it was all about acquiring these products at shelf. And then we all knew that people of color didn't have access to those shelves. So, the L'Oreals, the Pantenes, and those guys could get away with just slapping a label and a model on a picture and saying, this is for you. Um, but now with e-commerce, and social media and YouTube and things of that nature, it gives us equal access to our consumers, and it's been transformational for our business for sure.
And so what
Just the access.
Yeah, so what are some of the tools that you use to help with your e-commerce business?
Yeah. So what's driving the most traffic for us today is Instagram. Being able to visually tell our story, um, and build a community online, which would then, grab the attention of someone to then click through to Shopify and make a purchase. So social media has been everything for us.
Cool. So what do you kind of see as a future of the Frederick Benjamin brand? Are you going to be expanding your product line or really trying to go hard for retail? Give us some of those details.
Yeah. So basically, I think we have 7 SKUs now. We have a hair care regimen, which is a shampoo, conditioner, and a lightweight styling cream. We've got a shaving regimen, which is a pre-shave oil, shaving gel, and a bump treatment. And then we have styling, which with our sleek water pomade. So I believe at the moment we have enough SKUs. So for the next year or so, we are really going to be focusing on distribution, getting our products into the hands of our consumers, whether it be expanding our online presence, but also expanding our offline presence. And that's really going to be the focus. And once we get to a good place with distribution, and then we'll go back and broaden the line into additional categories.
Now, if I'm a listener at home and I have an idea for a hair care product, like how do you get something like this made? Is it are you the master mad scientist in the kitchen making the formula, or do you have to go to like some kind of a factory and tell them what you want? Like, how do you get a product like this made?
Yeah, so I mean, there are a couple ways, and I will say that a lot of people ask me that question, and they come to me and they say, I'm in the kitchen mixing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I think I have a great formula, but I want to do larger quantities. And what I tell them is like, as if you can make products in your bathtub, do that for as long as possible, because once you start going to outsourcing to a manufacturer, there will be capital requirements, right? Because then there will be minimum production runs, and just a whole bunch of different hurdles. So if you can, go on YouTube and figure out, a formula that works, and try to push it from bathtub into your friend's, shower. Do that as long as possible. Build a brand. And then, once you get to a point where you just can't do it anymore, then look for third-party manufacturers that can, one, manage your volume, but two, keep the integrity of the formula intact. But it's tough. I mean, again, for me, coming from the industry, I had quite a bit of experience taking an idea from paper to actual formulation. I've worked closely with chemists and manufacturers, so that was the easy part for me. So there's no one way to market. Rest assured, and there are a lot of great brands on retail shelves and much further along than we are that started in their bathtub. So I just get to where you need to go how you can, and then you adjust accordingly.
Yeah, because I think that's a part of the Carol's daughter storyline, is that she started a lot of her product and making it in her kitchen and then selling it in Brooklyn, and then it built, kind of built up from there.
From there, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's no real way. I mean, sometimes I will say, and I tell a lot of people this, that sometimes I kind of wish I didn't have all of the category experience, because I came into this, to this business with the idea or kind of the rule sheet, when in fact in business there are no rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
The winner goes to the ones that are actually breaking the rules or disrupting the way the norm. And so over time I really had to adjust my thinking about going to market.
And so I know you were talking about, so a lot of people don't have, access to, the working capital where they could take, a lot of, the money to actually put a lot of product, into place. So what were some of the things that you were able to do to kind of, I guess, maybe offset those costs if you don't, if you didn't have access to working capital? Because I know a lot of our listeners, they're budding entrepreneurs and they're trying to figure out, like, how do I just get started? And they may not have like, $10,000 or $15,000 to put into, launching a product line. But what are some other ways that they might just be able to take what they have and get something going?
Yeah, I mean, capital is a big hurdle in this business, and that's why I'm saying, if you can continue, make these products yourself for as long as possible, because again, once you go to a manufacturer, then those capital requirements and those capital calls come into play. For me, it was just I tapped into my savings. Not only after tapping into my savings, I tapped into friends and family, which I continue to do. But for someone that is capital strapped but has a good idea, man, I can't stress it enough. Going to Whole Foods or finding some supplies and just concocting this thing on your own is the best way forward. And then using those profits to, to then scale up. Mm-hmm. Because capital is real. I mean, the last thing you want to do is have all your capital tied into inventory and then having it not sell, not moving off the shelf, because then you're really screwed.
Yeah, because you don't want to just have products sitting somewhere and not moving.
That's right. I mean, that's where all your capital is. So now you can't promote it, or you have the inability to, get it out there. And so it's finding that right balance of capital deployment and inventory. But starting small, a lot of people say go big or go home. And while I understand what that means, it's, in this day and age, don't be afraid to start small, take baby steps, because your consumer, the marketplace will give you to your, to the back to the Shea Moisture example, the marketplace will give you instant feedback, right? So don't spend your whole wad on, a formulation before you've gotten some feedback. If you got a couple ideas, batch those ideas out, then take them into, to your friends and family, or better yet, outside of friends and family, and really get some good feedback. And once you have that, then you can start deploying more capital into that formula that actually got the best feedback. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So I think a big takeaway for all you listeners out there is always be testing.
Be testing.
Make sure that you're, whatever it is that, you're trying to put together out there, put it out there. That was kind of the Facebook model. It's, always be shipping code, and they're always pushing out new features, and, and same with Google and a lot of these other technology companies. They're pushing out things, and then, if it doesn't work, they kill it. So keep going with whatever it is that you're doing, and, keep learning from other smart voices out in the marketplace. So, Mr. James, tell us how everyone can reach you, follow the brand on social media.
Yeah. So, our website is shopfrederickbenjamin.com. And then you can follow us on Instagram at Fred B Grooming, and on Facebook at Frederick Benjamin Grooming. We are marketed and distributed online and in local barbershops and beauty salons. So if you don't see us in your local barbershop, ask your barber to look us up and get us in the shop as soon as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for being a smart brown voice in the space, and thank you for creating such an amazing product for African American and Latino men to look their best.
Excellent, Mike. I appreciate you having me on Smart Brown Voices, and keep up the good work, my friend.
Thank you. All right, guys, that was episode 83 or 84. It's somewhere in there. We'll figure that out when you see the graphic on the website. And then that's it. So like I said, we're trying to power through so we can get to episode 100 of the show. So look for a lot more episodes coming from us on a consistent basis. I've just been busy making decks for a different marketing agency, so that's why I had to take a break in last month so I could just actually make some money. So if anyone wants to sponsor the podcast, send us some checks. All right, guys. So look out for the next episode coming very, very soon. Later.
Thanks for listening to Smart Brown Voices with your host, Mr. Mike Street. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts, and make sure to follow us on social media. This has been a Mr. Mike Street production. Join us next time for another edition of Smart Brown Voices, and be inspired.